Fishing for kokanee has always been popular, yet in the last several years, this fishery has grown immensely. With shorter seasons, stronger regulations, and stricter harvest requirements, many anglers have looked to kokanee as an opportunity to have fun on the water, catch dozens of fish in a single trip, and be able to fill the freezer. Watch as we show how to develop a pattern on unfamiliar waters to find success targeting kokanee. Right now on Day One Outdoors.
The forecast, showers and thunderstorms today with strong southwesterly winds to 37 miles per hour.
It's a numbers game, especially for the situation that we're in. We're coming off of a high water event here.
The outdoors is not a hobby. It's not our passion. It is our way of life. We make the perfect cast, slow our breathing to execute a perfect shot, spend hours researching locations and techniques. Regardless of effort, we fail. This series is not about incredible bites or trophy animals. Our goal here at Day One Outdoors is to educate our viewers utilizing new technology to offer a different perspective. Watch as we research new areas, plan out the day, and adjust to changing conditions. If not for other experienced outdoorsmen teaching me along the way, I wouldn't have this life. I owe it to them to pass this knowledge along. I owe it to you. Join us here on Day One Outdoors, and let's learn how to become more successful in the field and on the water from day one. Odell Lake is known as one of the premier kokanee fisheries in the Pacific Northwest. With a generous 25 fish per person limit, it allows anglers to have ample opportunity to hone their skills for these finicky fish. During this trip, we filmed 2 separate boats and watched how each developed a pattern for success on the same body of water in the same area on the same day. Jeremy and Debbie John of Kokanee Kid Fishing are quite familiar with Odell Lake and their resident kokanee, but we decided to follow the newcomers to the lake first. For part 1 of our kokanee shoot, we are joined by Dwayne England of Northwest Wild Country and Jared Higginbotham of Yakima Bait Company. Before we hit the water, we took a moment to talk to Dwayne about how he began kokanee fishing and what he expects of his first day fishing Odell Lake.
So kokanee fishing is kind of a funny story. About 5-6 years ago, I've been friends with Bill Herzog for a long time, and he's just like a kokanee fiend. In the first couple of years I was on Northwest Wild Country with Bill, I did not understand or get the understanding as to why he got so excited about kokanee. I was like, man, they're just little bright fish. What's the big deal? I went out and started fishing about 4 years ago in the drift boat. Put a motor on the boat, clamp on downriggers, started tying up lures. You know, you get online, you start reading, doing your research, just kind of figure stuff out, create some lures, create some scent, create some bait, go out and start fishing. Start having moderate success. Start working with Bill a little bit more, creating more lures, different things to try, and once you start doing it, you get hooked. So I've put a lot of time and effort in fishing kokanee in Washington. I've actually fished with guys and fished kokanee in New Mexico, which is a complete different animal. I've never fished kokanee in Oregon. Last year we were up in Washington. Jeremy came up, spent a couple days, figured it out, did fantastic. A guy like him that's so dialed in the realm of kokanee, it didn't take him long. This is a huge, vast body of water. I have no knowledge of this lake. I did a little bit of research, got online, read some different bits of information. I know the wind comes up in the afternoon. You want to be at the west end and tuck in from the wind if you want to continue fishing. A lot of different perspectives on what works. One thing that's going on this year, and I mean Jeremy's forthcoming with information, so that's pretty nice, but The kokanee fishing out here has been pretty darn good. Guys are getting limits early, 8:30 by 8:30, 9 o'clock. They're off the water with limits of 25. You got that bonus limit out here, which is great. Jeremy definitely has the upper hand out here. This is his home water. He spends his entire summer into fall guiding out here, and I know he's pretty much squared away and can come out here day in and day out and be very productive. He's already given me a lot of good information. Pink is a definite go-to color out here. I think pink, indoor, you know, some of our little purple haze translucent small hoochies will work in the morning, especially with that UV. I'm gonna start off, we're gonna have probable full sun on the water in the morning. We'll see. If we got cloud cover, I can go with standard, chrome or nickel type Dodgers. If we got full sun, I'm going to be using gold. Not afraid to try a white and black. So there's just there's a wide opportunity depending on what the sun and or the clouds are doing in the morning. Definitely going to have pinks and oranges on again, as Jeremy has been very specific in that. And I believe when we spoke with him a couple weeks ago on Northwest Wild Country, he made a point to say he starts off the mornings with orange, transitions to pinks. Doesn't hurt to put either of those out at the same time in the morning. Going to be running 3 rods on the downriggers. And again, as Buzz Ramsey always tells us, let the fish tell us what they want, and then we'll switch up to that. When they go off the bite from there, we'll keep changing gear until we figure them out.
Expectations have been set, and it was time to get a good night's sleep. The kokanee bite begins before the sun rises, and there was much prep work yet to do.
At Pavati Boats, we demand perfection. Our engineers turn to aerospace technologies and materials to design and build the lightest, most stable, best rowing drift boats ever developed. For us, versatility is essential, and with over 16 patents and counting, including our trademark drifter doors, quick lock seat systems, and the industry's only true level floors, the Pavati revolution has begun. Experience it now at PavatiMarine.com.
Every once in a while, a new lure comes along that catches every angler's attention. It could be because of all the irresistible colors and finishes, or the patented skip beat action. Or maybe it's the wide variety of sizes designed for salmon, trout, walleye, steelhead, mackinaw, and more. But just for the record, we know one thing for certain. We didn't design the maglip to catch fishermen. Yakima Bait Company.
Salmon swim up to 3,000 miles to return to their exact place of birth to reproduce. Well, most of the time.
Morning had come, and the sun's rays were beginning to peek over the mountaintops. Jared, Jordan, and Dwayne made their way to the boat with gear in hand. The weather forecast was ideal, with no significant wind forecasted until early afternoon. Although water temps were higher than usual, kokanee were on the bite, and the crew was anxious to get their gear in the water.
So we just got started here in the morning. Dwayne picked up one on Jordan's rod, and we're kind of getting things dialed in, getting tuned into the lake here. You know, it's the first time out for the Northwest Wild Country boat in Odell Lake, and we're just now finding our groove. So we can see these fish back here on the fish finder. We got them from 40 to about 60 feet. So we've got our riggers staggered out, different depths from 44 feet all the way up, I think, to 53 feet. So we're gonna run this out here for a few minutes, see if we can establish a pattern and catch some fish. So we just left off talking about getting the first fish and getting a pattern, and Jordan's rod went off again. So we've got our second kokanee right now coming to the boat. Got it in the net. And Dwayne had talked about this gold dodger and how these fish key in on different colors, you know, at certain times of the day. And he was talking about this gold dodger, and you can see how this gold color and this combination with the hoochie is working good so far this morning. So we're gonna see if we can further establish our pattern, really narrow it down, and start putting more kokanees in the boat.
Oh, fish.
Yep.
Stand straight heading. Okay, this one's, oh. Be there. Oh yeah. This one was at 66. We've hit fish at 55, 51. That one was at 66. That corner. Everybody on one side of the boat. Oh, you come off? Yep. Surface break and it comes off. All right, we've lost the last 3 now, unfortunately. It's kokanee fishing, man. What are you gonna do? You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna get baited back up, back in the water, in the boat so we don't run into somebody.
So Jordan just hooked up. He dropped down to 61 feet. We brought in our gear. Dwayne rescaled it with one of Kokanee Kids' rigs called the Mysis Bug. It's a smaller profile. Sun hit the water, you know, and so we kind of downsized the flash and the flare a little bit, and it seemed to work. He wasn't down there for just more than a few minutes, and bam, fish on. I better grab the net real quick.
What do you do?
Yeah, that's a beautiful little fat kokanee right there. Nice, bright, beautiful fish. This is awesome. Man, we're fortunate to be out here doing this, hanging out with my friends, catching kokanees, learning about a new fishery. This is what fishing's all about. This is why we do it. You know, just the love of the sport and just learning, man. Non-stop education. And that's what we're here to do, is just learn. And man, I'm sure having a good time.
Are you?
I'm having a great time, big dog.
Are you really having a good time?
I have a good time everywhere I go.
How's this boat working out for you?
I love the boat, man. The Northwest Wild Country boat is just treating me right. Feeling like a king out here this morning and just having a great time. This fish is yelling at me, please don't put me in the cooler. Please don't put me in the cooler.
Hey, where's that fish gonna go?
In the cooler.
Attaboy. You there? Yep.
So we got a fish on right here. We've been going through, had a bad little stretch there of hookups with no fish, but I can feel the fish on here. Little fish popping. I got a fast limit Dodger on. It's down 66 feet, and bringing my first kokanee to the boat. I've been kokanee fishing in about 15 years, so.
What?
I know, man.
You need a net?
I know.
Go by your feet. Big Jay getting it done himself. Net his own fish. There we go. Nicely done, brother. Decent sized little guy, huh? Come out with that fish, Jordan.
And flipping and rolling, and so trying to get the hooks out of the net. What I'm using here is I've got a new Dodger from Yakima Bait Company. It's called a Fast Limit Kokanee Dodger. These things have done really, really well over the last 6 months, so I wanted to test them out myself. And rigging that we're coming out with called the Tight Lines Kokanee rig. So you can see it's got a small hoochie, a glow hoochie with a glow pink tiger blade, and that's actually the name of this finish, is glow pink tiger. We had a green maggot on top and a couple of chunks of corn on the back soaked in tuna and garlic, and I'm going to put this thing back down 66 feet where it was at and see if I can't do it again.
We got good light up on the water now. Interestingly enough, you know, one thing you'll battle out here is the wind, and hoping it stays away till the afternoon. Already got a little breeze kicking up, and I've watched the fish on the finder. As the light came up, the fish went down, and as the wind came up a little bit, we got a little bit of surface, break. I can see that the fish have come back up now. Jeremy tells me they come up and they're feeding on the shrimp. The shrimp are suspended up a little higher, so they might be chasing feed. You get a little disturbance on the surface, and they feel a little safer, they'll come back up. So we got fish scattered from 35 to 70, 80 feet right now. We got rods set at 3 different depths. It's just the kokanee game, man. You chase them up, chase them down. Right now we're just trying to get bit again. Jeremy's probably got 190 fish in his boat already. Wouldn't surprise me. But we're finding a few. Hey Jay, we're getting a few.
Every once in a while, a new lure comes along that catches every angler's attention. It could be because of all the irresistible colors and finishes, or the patented skip beat action. Or maybe it's the wide variety of sizes designed for salmon, trout, walleye, steelhead, mackinaw, and more. But just for the record, we know one thing for certain. We didn't design the maglip to catch fishermen. Yakima Bait Company.
Salmon swim up to 3,000 miles to return to their exact place of birth to reproduce. Well, most of the time.
Day One Outdoors is your full-service guide to the Pacific Northwest and beyond. Join us on the water targeting salmon, bass, steelhead, and more. For those with adventure in mind, Day One Outdoors offers hosted trips to the South Pacific. Join Cody and Samoa this winter chasing massive blue marlin and other pelagics in this tropical paradise, all for less than fishing in Alaska. Contact us via our website to book your next adventure today.
The Northwest Wild Country boat had found a few good-sized kokanee, but had not yet found a consistent depth or setup that was continually producing biters. Hopefully, they can apply what they have learned so far this morning and put a few more bright kokanee into the boat.
Yeah, that's a fish, isn't it? So I just dropped down 76 feet here. Jordan hit a fish at 76. I dropped down to 76 and immediately got bit. So we're kind of starting to figure out what's going on with these fish right now. Hopefully we can dial in that pattern and start putting more and more in the box. These guys seem to be fluctuating up and down, up and down, up and down in the water column pretty rapid, and we're just kind of trying to stay on top of where they're at and keep our gear right in that zone so we can continue to get bit. Oh, it's a giant.
Net. Oh, we're wrapped up in it. Yeah, we're gonna hoist him.
Yeah, we're just gonna hoist this one in.
Hoist!
As you can see again, a little green maggot right there on there. That was part of that trick. They seem to be liking that this morning. Got a hoochie with a glow corky in the head. Pink glow tiger blade. About an 8 to 9 inch leader recommendation of Jeremy yesterday, so since he's a Kokanee kid, I figured I'd take his recommendation to heart and actually use it, and so far it's working. Appreciate the tip, Jeremy. And again, back to this fast limit Dodger, so I'm gonna rebait, deploy, see if we can't do it again. So Jordan and I just doubled up. We're both reeling a couple of nice little kokanees, and we're gonna put this back out. And what we did was we rebaited it. You can see I got a green Berkeley maggot on the top hook, a couple of chunks of corn soaked in tuna and garlic, is that right?
Yep.
Right on, so some tuna and garlic oil, they seem to be liking that. I'm gonna put this back at about a 40-foot leads where I had it last time, so I'm gonna release it, watch my line counter go back right here to 40 feet, and then I'm gonna clip it in the downrigger clip. I'm gonna clip the downrigger clip, I'm gonna drop it down to 76 feet where I got bit last time. So I'm gonna continue at that depth until I quit getting bit, and then we'll start chasing them with the depth finder again and seeing where those fish are stacking and where we should put our downrigger balls.
Right there at 60, that big group of fish
You can see right here on the depth finder, there's a big school of fish right at 60 feet. So that's what we've been doing, is following them, chase them up and down. It's a little bit of extra work, but sometimes that extra work pays off at the end of the day, between 10 fish to 25 fish maybe, just for adjusting these downriggers, really keying on these kokanee and following them through that water column. So I'm gonna put this back 40 feet, drop it back down to where I was started at 76 feet, and see what we can get. So Jordan's got another fish on me. A come across a big school of fish between 70 and 100 feet, and as soon as we seen that school of fish there, Jordan's rod went off, it started popping, so I dropped mine down to 100, and I think Big D just reeled his in. He got bit, so we're going to keep after it with this pattern and continue to fine-tune it.
Good size fish.
Nice fat little kokanee. Oh, good one for the box. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Nice little chunky, beautiful, healthy fish. See how bright they are? Their meat's just rich pink. Very fatty, very flavorful, very plentiful. We've seen this big biomass of kokanee to like 75 feet. And man, I dropped that downrigger down. As soon as it stopped, boom, down it went. And fish on. Nice little chunky. Oh, he just got off right at the boat. Early release. Man, that's a bummer. But you know what? That's kokanee fishing. So I'm gonna rebait, relocate, and see if I can't do it again.
Yeah, there we go. 70 feet. This one has a lot of flash. I put on a larger 4-aught Dodger, just a silver plated, just a with some UV on there, and then I got a UV skirted. It's kind of a pink, translucent UV skirted lure I made with a larger spinner blade, and I just wanted to see if a lot of flash would draw them in. It's the second one I've had on since I put this in a few minutes ago. So that might be, they might be going for that now. Feels like a bigger fish.
Put it right back there.
Oh, look, he's right there. That was a nice sized fish. This is what we got. Sure ain't gonna run anyways. So with a larger Dodger, a gold star. Lots of flash. Even though we got sun coming up. And then this here is a skirted UV skirt with a bead and just a nice big blade on there. So we'll bait up, put it in again. It seems to be working. So, well, as I said that I got bit, but I'm going to scale down. I'm going to go a little smaller, a little less flash now. We're getting quite a bit of light up on the water. So I'm going to take off this big Dodger, this big presentation. I'm going to scale down to something smaller, a little less flash. I think I'll go back to some gold for a bit, see if that's going to turn it on. Constant state of change, that's what we're in. We'll put this out there.
So a good rule of thumb generally is don't leave fish to find fish. Well, we fished for a while, we picked up some fish in the general area we were fishing, and we noticed on our next pass through that we didn't mark any fish, didn't get any takedowns. So what we did, we've transitioned and started moving more to the west of the lake. Sun came up on the water, and so the fish probably dissipated, moved, went to their normal spots they go to during the day whenever the sun hits the water. So we're moving down a little bit farther in the lake to the west end. We're going to see if we can't find these fish. We started marking a few. The further we get this way, we're starting to see more and more balls of these kokanee, and so we're going to see if we can target those fish, target those depths like we were before, raising and lowering the downriggers depending on where the fish are stacked in the water column. See if we can't get them to bite. So I'm going to get back after it, check the fish finder again, and then I'm going to adjust accordingly with all the riggers.
Good.
So we noticed a big ball of fish down at 90 feet, and so I dropped my rigger down there, gave it about 10 seconds. You know, we got about a 30, 40 foot lead, and give that bait just enough time to cruise through that little ball of fish. And sure enough, pop, pop, pop on the rod, and I got a fish on. Release it from the downrigger clip, and I can feel him popping down there, a little bit of head shaking. He's just about ready to get to the top of the water. These things, you want to reel them pretty slow, you know, nice and easy, consistent. And when they get to the top of the water like that, they tend to pop off a little bit. We're just gonna see if we can.
All right, Big Jared, we're done.
Done.
We did okay.
We did okay.
I don't know how many we got in the box, but it's 30 something.
Yeah.
I guess, you know,
Yeah.
6-7 hours out here, I guess. The challenge was the constant changing conditions,
Oh man.
and not so much the weather, but just the behavior of the fish.
Yeah. They were up, they were down, they were up, they were down, they were on glow, they were on pink, they were on big dodgers, you know what I mean? Just the constant change. I mean, but that's kokanee fishing.
That is kokanee
You know,
fishing.
you got to evolve with the fish, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour and a half.
Yeah, and we did. I mean, we didn't sit idle. You know, one of the biggest mistakes I think a lot of anglers make, whether you're familiar with your own home water or you come out and try something new, is complacency.
Sure.
And you might catch, you know, 5-10 fish in the morning off of something that's working based on light conditions, whether there's chop on the water or not. And if you're finding fish in decent sized schools and you're getting some biters.
Right.
The sun was filtered by the clouds.
Right.
This afternoon, and the pattern that was working was a something big and flashy for a dodger. So
Right.
you changed out.
I did.
You were running.
I was running a smaller fast limit dodger, you know, early in the morning, which I did well on. I got quite a few takes.
That was working good.
You know, I was getting fish fairly consistent, and then all of a sudden that bite died.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for us. Day One Outdoors. Cody Herman, let's go find out where he's at and throw him in the lake.
Let's go throw them in the lake.
Join us next week as we jump onto the boat with Jeremy John and watch as a local expert adjusts his pattern to find quick limits. For more information or to book a guided trip with us here at Day One Outdoors, visit day1outdoors.com or d10.tv.